So 35 years ago today, on November 5th, 1990, in the 7:30 TV hour, on the show, Inside Edition, Elvis's first cousin, Earl Greenwood, had written a tell-all book about his first cousin, the boy who would be king. And he revealed that why Colonel Tom Parker held so much power over Elvis was sex tapes from the 50s. So there's some never shown before video that includes this still in this clip. So 35 years ago, right now, on Channel 3, Inside Edition, Bill O'Reilly.
The legend continues. New videos of Elvis.
I think he felt personally inferior. He was not prepared for the fame and fortune that came his way.
A poor boy from Mississippi becomes one of the most famous legends in the history of America. No wonder millions are fascinated by Elvis Presley. But Elvis led a troubled life, and now comes a disturbing story about the king told by his cousin. As Craig Rivera reports, Earl Greenwood has also provided Inside Edition with exclusive, never-before-seen video of the king.
The cause of death is cardiac arrhythmia due to undetermined causes.
Well, I'm tired and so weary.
August 16, 1977, the day Elvis Presley died, Memphis, Tennessee was a scene of pandemonium. Thousands of mourning fans and the world's press surrounded Graceland, his mansion that had become an enclave in which Elvis had sought refuge from his meager beginnings and later his own fame. According to Elvis's cousin Earl Greenwood, the king's demise was almost a welcome relief to those who knew it would end his pain. The pain started with the guilt of losing a twin brother at birth, then his mother, whom he adored and depended on for advice. She died at an early age, just as his career took off. And finally, the career that catapulted him from the depths of poverty to godlike dimensions was coming to an end.
He was not prepared for the fame and fortune that came his way. Elvis was basically a simple person.
Earl Greenwood describes Elvis as a shy, insecure young man who was tortured by the shame of his family's poverty while growing up a sharecropper's son in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Everything has happened to me so fast in the last year and a half till I'm all mixed up, you know.
I think he felt
can't keep up with everything that's happened.
personally inferior, or like these people are only going with me because of who I am. He'd say, yeah, I remember going to school with that person. They wouldn't have anything to do with me in school. Now they're at my gate trying to get in to see me. Except he added a few little colorful adjectives in there.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Greenwood was with Elvis as a boyhood friend, who also served as his press agent for a time throughout Presley's career. This position gave him a ringside seat to the Presley circus. In his book, Elvis, the Boy Who Would Be King, he writes of Presley's bizarre relationship with his mother, his abuse of drugs, and how Elvis turned bitter to the opposite sex.
The women would see Elvis performing on stage, and they would get sexually stimulated by his gyrations and movements, and they thought, wow, he must really be something in the bedroom. When, according to what people told me, the women told me, you know, he was just average.
Something that you wrote in your book was that sex became a great equalizer for Elvis. You're quoted as saying he felt inferior around most girls, especially those of any kind of breeding, unless he conquered them in the bedroom. What did you mean by that?
That's right, because those high-class type girls are the ones that snubbed him through his life until he became famous. And then it was like, I'll show you type revenge.
Greenwood would often record occasions with Presley with an 8mm film camera, like this rare footage of Elvis celebrating his return from the Army on cake and hamburgers. Greenwood claims that on different occasions he took explosive films of Elvis and himself involved in sexual liaisons with underage women in the King's Graceland mansion.
This was taken shortly after the Welcome Home Party in 1960. in which it was just arbitrarily done. There was no big production plans made. And each night for about 4 or 5 nights, for an hour or two, they were shot in 8mm. And it involved Elvis and myself and 3 or 4 girls. And sometimes I would go down to the gate to get the girls.
According to Greenwood, those films got into the hands of Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's former manager.
According to Earl Greenwood, the sex films of Elvis with underage girls was the main reason Colonel Tom Parker had control of him for so long. Greenwood claims that Colonel Parker still has possession of those films, and now he wants them back.
Inside Edition made several attempts to reach Colonel Parker to respond to Greenwood's allegations. We were told by associates he would not talk.
I don't want them to, come up and go public or underground selling them or things like that.
If you didn't want the sex films publicized, then why did you write about them in your book?
I didn't want to leave important information out of the book. I wanted it to be a balanced book. And I just wanted to put that in there to show people that he's not God.
I want you, I need you, I love you.
These claims are the latest in the never-ending series of Elvis books that outrage and at the same time fascinate readers. But despite the stories of Elvis Presley's life and times, we will never forget the charisma and raw talent that kept the innocent boy from Tupelo one of the most popular entertainers of our time.
For his story, Earl Greenwood was paid handsomely by the publisher. We'll be back in a moment with a big moment for John Kennedy Jr.
Thank you for watching Cleveland Live Music. I can't play a lick. That's why I'm a taper. Thanks for watching the channel and making it grow. If you want to subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Patreon and GoFundMe would be appreciated. Maybe I could get guitar lessons.